Hey guys, OFD checking in here. Hey, it's time to take a look at Vostok number 2. This is the Vostok Amphibia, and I think this is the 120 case. So I'm pretty sure this is still running a 2416B movement in it. So been wearing this watch for a few days straight. Been a good little watch. It's keeping pretty good time. I think it's about 30 seconds fast in 4 days if I'm measuring it just right. I'm not super good at the accuracy on watches and measuring that. I don't find the time to be able to sit there and look at them and gauge them. But about 30 seconds is all it's running by my atomic clock on the wall here. So that's great. I've worn the watch doing a bunch of work, including running a chainsaw, which I know is a big no-no on an automatic watch, but for the price and whatnot, I go ahead and test these watches out as hard as I possibly can. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this watch here in a second. One thing I want to bring up real quick is, as far as looking for product and stuff to review on the channel, I'm going to kind of start opening up to viewer requests and also viewer collections. So one of my great viewers, always on the channel, always watching the videos and usually making a great comment about the videos, has offered to send me photographs of his collection. Great stuff he's got. It's a Seiko collection right now. He's got some more stuff that he's willing to send down the line. But I'm really excited about taking a look at this collection. So this week here, I'll start putting together a video for that. I'd like to ask going forward that possibly you guys can help to share what you have in your collections, and I can talk about them on the channel. I can review them. Possibly maybe a watch you're excited about getting, you want to know a little bit more about. We can get some pictures, we can review it here on the channel, go over that watch. So anyways, down in the description at the bottom of this video, I'm going to go ahead and put my email address. It's ofdwatchchannel@gmail.com. You guys can get a hold of me through there, and we'll see if we can't work something out to put your product or your collection on the channel. So anyways, let's get a look, jump into this review of the Vostok Amphibia. This is my second one. I'm excited about reviewing this little watch. So do a quick intro and we'll jump right into it. All right, thanks guys. This is my second Vostok Amphibia. This one not being what you would call the Scuba Dude model. So the other one this is a 120 case. The last one I ordered being this one here is a 420 case. So you guys can see the difference in the case. I guess the design, one of the biggest differences really being the length from lug to lug, and I'll go ahead and measure that out here in a minute. Also the fact that the 120 case has these very slight crown guards, whereas the 420 case doesn't have those at all. So just like the other watch, this is running a 2416B movement in it. This has a acrylic crystal on it, which is really nice. These are really tough crystals. I've bumped mine and banged them a couple times, and unless you hit them against something really abrasive, it doesn't really scratch them up too much at all. As a matter of fact, I've done a lot of tree work and brush pulling work and stuff like that with this watch on. Had no problem with it. So just like my first Vostok, this has a friction bezel, which will turn in either direction. I like the look of this watch because of the more traditional diver's look. You've got the numbers at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position for bezel, for timing. You've also got 15-second hash marks from the 0 to the 15-minute mark. I'm sorry, 15 minutes, not seconds. So I liked the blue second hand that was on this watch. I also like the way that they use this little thing as a pointer here. The way they broke this dial up with these lines here. It kind of breaks the top and the bottom half of the dial into 3 different positions, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, just a little bit different. So from what I understand about these Vostoks, at least the bezel, I'm not sure about the entire case, but the bezel, this is a chrome bezel over a base metal. So, over time and stuff like that, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. What it does do right now is it makes the watch very flashy, very bright out in the sunlight. Not in a bad way. I mean, it looks great. It really actually looks great on the wrist. I've received a couple compliments on the watch, I think just because it's so flashy. But it makes it a real fingerprint magnet on this bezel here when you use it. Fingerprints and splashes of water and whatnot tend to show up and stay there until you wipe them off. But guys that like us that like watches, it just gives us another chance to look at and touch our watch. So very cool. One of the best things I love about this newest one I ordered is this band. The first one here came on a metal bracelet, which is absolute garbage. This rubber band is very soft, almost like a silicone material. Honestly feels like a good, $20 band that you would order. So, in that case, it's worth a third of the price of the watch, really. So has a nice design to where it swells out here at the buckle so that you don't have a real thin piece of rubber holding the buckle on. Has the ventilation holes, which works great. Has your typical Vostok case back. It doesn't have one of the kind of unique case backs. I've been on the internet looking, and I see there's a lot of different ones out there. So I have read what this all says before, but to be honest with you, I don't remember what everything says. But you guys, there's videos out there, and you can look up on the internet what your Vostok says. So what I really liked also on this watch model compared to the 420 is the lack of this one is just really busy. It has a really busy dial, especially the way the numbers are crowded inside of those indices there. You got the 3 lines of writing, including the 31 joules and the automatic and the 200 meters. Over here on the side, you have the Made in Russia on the dial. This one, they just really kind of cleaned it up. They took a lot of that stuff off. You've still got your 200-meter water resistance. You've got your Made in Russia down here at the bottom. And you've got your Amphibia at the top. So it's just real clean and simple. So 3 o'clock date window. The date works on this just like most Vostoks do. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this. You guys can check out. This is a 2-position crown like most Vostoks. You come out at the first position. This is your winding position. You come out to your second position, and this will be for setting the time. As you guys can see, when I went back there, did you see how the second hand stopped? So this isn't a hacking movement, but you can actually do a fake hack. So let's say you wanted to set this watch at precisely to 12 o'clock. What I would do is just go a little bit past. You're going to wait for your second hand to get to that 12 o'clock position. You can go back a little bit. And you can pretty much get your watch synced pretty doggone good. So there you go. I mean, it's not hacking, but it works pretty well. So then to get yourself back to the winding position, you have to screw your crown back down. You guys heard that click. Partway through there, it actually re-engages the winding mechanism on the crown. So then you can go back to winding it. So, and then supposedly in here, it's your typical wobbly head, and this is considered like some kind of clutch release, but I guess up here in the top there's actually a gasket, so when you screw this thing down and you kind of feel that gasket pressing, it's a real nice sturdy screw down deal there, so it works pretty good. So like I said, acrylic crystal, they work really great. I like the dome on them. I like the heavy dome. One interesting thing about this case design, I was noticing this, is if you look at the two together from the side, they're very similar. It's very similar. Obviously, the 120 case has bigger lugs on it, longer lugs, but look at that. They look a lot alike from the side. The 120 case, also, the width of this bezel is much larger. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my, my caliper here and get this guy turned on, and we'll go ahead and do some measurements. So for the case of this watch, we are looking right at 40 millimeter, which is what's advertised on this watch. So that's good there. So for the thickness of this watch, like they tend to be, it's about 15.2, 15.3, same as the other one, probably with that 2416B movement in there. And then from lug to lug on this watch, we are looking at, let's see, it looks like it's going to be right at about 49.5. Yeah, there we go. 49.4. So not too big of a watch. It's really pretty much the same size as the 420 case. It's just a slightly longer from lug to lug that way there. So anyways, one thing I wanted to show you guys, and I have the case already cracked on my Scuba Dude model, is I wanted to go ahead and take the back off of one of these and show you guys this little 2416B 31 joule automatic movement in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one down. Like I said, I've already kind of cracked the case back on this one. Let me grab my my tweezers here. I should have probably had these ready and out. But when you're doing watch stuff, you tend to put your tools away so you don't lose them. Tends to work better that way. Okay, so got my tweezers out. So let's go ahead and undo this case back here. You guys see it's not your standard screw down case back. The spanner nut on the outside actually spins and holds this case back on there. The case back will just eventually come out. One of the nice things about that is you don't have the shearing force of a screw down case back. That's been eliminated with this. As you screw down a normal case back, you know, the natural force is that as the case back, you know, screws down and presses down, you have a shearing force on that seal. You know, like I said, that's completely eliminated with this design. So as you guys see here, there's a tab on either side of the case. What you're going to want to do is get a little tool or something like that underneath that tab, and you can just gently pry it up. And the case back will come loose like it just did. Let me see if I can. Sorry for my shakiness, guys. Here, I'm probably too much coffee this morning. All right, so there it is. There is the 31 jewel Vostok movement. You guys can see it beating away in there. You guys can see that this case back gasket is no joke. I mean, that's a pretty serious looking case back gasket. So slightly decorated logo, decorated with the Vostok logo there, you know, or rotor, I should say, yeah, with a little bit of the logo on there. You can see some of your jewels there out of the 31 jewel movement. See it beating away. Small movement, quite a bit of a you know, plastic movement holder in there, which is no big deal. Even a 7S26 has that in there. So, but anyways, there you guys go. There's the inside of a Vostok Amphibia, the 2416B movement. Pretty neat, pretty neat. So anyways, guys, just a real quick review of the the Vostok Amphibia. Great watch, impressive design. I'm not going to go deep into the history of these, but you guys, if you understand that the Russian engineers, military engineers were pressed at the time to develop a watch to compete with, you know, some of the biggest names out there, Omega, Seamaster, your Blancpain 50 Fathoms, your Rolex Submariner. You know, it's just, this thing was designed back then the way it was because they just didn't have the money or the wherewithal to create something as strong, as beefy with the clamshell case, the oyster case, or whatever you want to say, of some of these other watches that were being designed out there. So yes, it's completely different. But you know what? It works. It works, and it works pretty good. I'm enjoying my two Vostoks that I've received, both of which I received from two different vendors, one on eBay, one through Amazon. You know, you get a little bit nervous ordering something from Russia, but actually both of these watches showed up in a 2-week window. I had absolutely no problems with them, and you know, both sellers were really on the up and up, and I'm really happy about that. So anyways, if you guys want to add something a little bit different to your collection, check out the Vostok Amphibia. I think if you're going to have a rounded collection of dive watches especially, this is something you should consider having in there. As I've said before, it's kind of the AK-47 of dive watches. It's just so different, but it really works and gets the job done. So if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And if you like this video, please give me a little thumbs up down there. And we'll catch you again on the backside. Thanks.